went wrong at the end of last year that you're hoping to avoid this year?
Well, we didn't execute. You know, there's not one single thing. I'd like to be able to tell you, hey, there's one thing, and we got that fixed, whether it be schematically or personnel-wise or what have you. If you really study each and every game, and I can't tell you how many times we have, right from the very last game of the season, there was a breakdown here. There was situations where we didn't do well, obviously, on defense. There was game situations that got created as the game went on that might have led to some of the failures as the game progressed as a team. You know, total team stuff as well as just us on defense. So there's a number of things, but we've looked at it. Our players have studied it. We've all taken ownership, starting with me, right on down the line to guys that look and where mistakes were made, how we can effectively improve in those areas, and not allow us, as we did at the end of the year, to put ourselves in position to beat ourselves in games as opposed to the opponent making plays. There was a lot of plays of that nature as the season went on.
Where's your confidence that this year is going to be better?
I'm confident each and every year as we go into it. You know, I think we've played in the big picture a solid defense. We want to take it to a whole nother level. I think, you know, there wasn't a whole lot that changed in terms of the way we did things. There's a lot of speculation, and everybody can have an opinion about it. But yet, you know, through 10 games, we had a lot of good things going on defensively. And there was a lot of people that were looking at us as one of the better defensive teams in the league. Our personnel was banged up a little here and there, but that wasn't the reason why everything you know, fell short towards the end. And schematically, we didn't change at week 11 and start becoming a different defense. So we've looked at it. I think we can tighten things down. We plan to tighten things down. And I really want to do a good job of taking these players' strengths and maximizing them, as opposed to them fitting the system that we've had over the years. I think we've done a lot of good things, but not enough. And this is a production league. We got to win, and we got to play great on defense in order for that to happen.
Speaking of playing with to a guy's strengths, what are your thoughts on a guy like Tony Lippett coming out and having a practice like he did today?
Well, Tony showed up today, that's for sure. He really, you know, he's got excellent ball skills. He's got great hands. He's a very good athlete. But I would not just want to single Tony out, because I think our young group overall have really stepped up and been playing well. Tony's done a nice job. Bobby McCain has showed up in every practice making plays as a young player. Our young linebacking core, all four of those young linebackers that have joined our team here in the spring have done things to be, you know, they're going to compete. That's the great news right now. At every position we have competition. We have depth to the point where I couldn't tell you today. I was in here over the weekend looking at the board trying to figure out, okay, this is going to be awful hard, trying to figure out 53 and 46 when you come down to the regular season, as hard as it's ever been for us here. And that's a good thing. The sad thing is you want to keep every one of them, because I tell you what, we got a great group of guys. When I walk in that defensive meeting room, I am so blessed to be able to be coaching these guys. And I mean that sincerely. It's a good group of people. They're good players. They're working hard. Couldn't ask for anything more at this point. So, you know, it's a mixture of veterans and young guys that are really buying in and are looking to the vets to help them. So we got a good chemistry going right now, and I'm encouraged, and you know, I'm always optimistic, but I will say I'm as optimistic as I've ever been going into this season.
With McCain, not which, I got to be specific.
Bryce?
No, not that Bryce.
Bobby.
No, not that
Oh,
one.
Chris.
Yes.
Right, yeah. We got to come up with a bunch of nicknames for those guys so that we have them, but haven't shared them with you yet. But go ahead.
Chris, what was it that you saw about him that made you confident he could be elevated into a starting role now?
Well, you know, not to take anything away from Chris, but there's no definite starting lineup at this point. What we're doing is trying to cross-train some guys so that we can get depth within our own core, not just in numbers, but depth and flexibility to move one guy from a Sam to a Mike, or a Will to a Sam, so you're getting the best players on the field at the end of the day. And Chris is a really good athlete. He's got good coverage skills. He's got length. He's got good pass rush skills. He's a good blitzer. So some of his skill set lends to the linebacker position. Some of it lends to being a pass rusher. Our charge right now is to make sure he's getting enough work rushing the passer and at the linebacker position. So he's been getting a lot of base work at linebacker and a lot of rush work with our nickel package. So we're going to continue to do that. And we're cross-training. Coyle and Kelvin are both doing great work out here at the Mike position. We're going to make sure that they learn multiple positions so that at the end of the day, when we look at our core linebackers, we're making sure we got the right guys on the field. And so that's what we're doing at each position too. In the secondary, guys are playing nickels and outside, and safeties are going to learn how to play dime, and we're going to do a few things as we move forward. So hopefully our depth will improve.
Coach Philbin has emphasized finishing, not just at the end of the season, but at the end of games.
Right.
You had games like Detroit last year, Green Bay, Denver.
Yep.
When something like that happens and your defense has played good for 50, sometimes 8 minutes,
yep.
but at the last minute, what does that do to you? How does that leave you?
To me, it gives me major headaches. But no, as far as finishing is the name of the game. This league, the competition is so fierce, so close. The parity in the league is so close that the good teams find ways to win in those critical situations, and we need to do that. We need to do it better than we've done over the 3 years, not just last year, but over the 3-year period, to get from being a 8-8 team into the upper echelon of the league. And it's making plays in those crunch times. And Coach Philbin does a great job of creating, simulating game situations that way. Like today, we spent a whole day basically down in the red zone, an area that we weren't as good as we had been the previous 2 years on defense. And so that was a good starting point for us today. But for us to be the kind of defense we have to be, we got to not only win games, but be able to make the plays that impact the game right when the game is in the balance. And that's something we practice, but we got to get confident in doing, and it comes through experience, and hopefully this group will be able to do that.
That ability that you mentioned earlier for a defense to be multiple, well, how does that serve your defense? Does it help you in the terms of not being able or not having to substitute?
Well, yeah, that's one thing. As Coach described, I think to you all earlier in the wintertime or in the spring, it's not so much the volume of what you do, it's when you start creating different packages with different personnel, a way of trying to get the repetition, that you feel confident that you've gotten enough work with the right players in at certain times. And I think that's what we're trying to take a look at. To me, the more you can do with the players that are on the field, and I'm not talking about in a third down situation and not have to be subbing, the harder it is for the offense, because when they're looking at your subs just like you're looking at theirs. And so when they see certain guys come in the game, they may have, okay, they're going to be in one of these 3, 4, 5 things. Whereas if you keep certain groups in the game a longer period of time, you have the whole gamut of what you have in the defensive package to run. If you have the athletes that can do that. Fortunately, we've got some of those guys, and I think that's going to be a